streaming, which can be accessed via rjplanet.com. We repeat, our phone numbers are 897-8374 and 895-4460. Thank you for listening.
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
Radio Bandido, 810 AM.
Yes. Pilipinas, DZRJ810AM, your host and co-producer Francis de Guzman. And we have very special guests today related to the very pressing issues of the day. And but before that, folks, I'd like to give a briefing on the good news, Sa Davao, Davao City, I'm reading from Manila Bulletin, my former newspaper where I used to write with my special guest here. Mamaya introduce ko sa inyo, sa Davao Sur coffee grower to represent Philippines in Boston. Boston Coffee Expo. Wow, this is good news, An Arabica coffee farmer from Davao del Sur sa Bansalan will fly to the United States, next month to represent the Philippines. Massachusetts. Wow, terrific talaga, no? Iba tayo sa agriculture. Nandito yung kasama ko, expert ito. Kaibigan ko ito, tagal na.
I'm not an expert.
Very humble man. I love this man. The other good news is China. Sabi rito ni Speaker Arroyo, former President and now Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, sabi na China a partner and not a threat to development. Ganda nito. This is good news, kasi maraming dumadaan na mga balita last week na, China is a threat, yung West Philippine Sea and all that, but it's not true. So, ito na yan, the world should not look at China as a threat, but rather a partner in development. That's the good news, folks. And because our program is centered on good, also how it impacts our nation and the world. And I would like to greet all my colleagues in the National Press Club. Si Lakay. Lakay, na-miss namin ikaw sa PADS. Pero alam ko, busy ka. And also, my friends from the KBP, sa KBP ng Pilipinas, no? Kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas. So, also, my son, I would like to greet my son in the US with my apos. I have two apos in New York.
Grandsons.
Grandkids, Rainer and Brian. Mabuhay kayo, anak. Miss you. You've been here the last few years ago. And Richie and the wife, Janet. Okay. Without much ado, I'd like welcome. My good friend.
Thank you.
Magkasama kami sa Manila Bulletin for several years, and he's very close to our colleague in the media, si Present Secretary of Agriculture, Manny Piñol. Sir, mabuhay kayo. You are our guest at the recent
Philippine
anniversary.
Journalist.
Yes, Philippine Journalist Inc. No? And si Mike Alunan, Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the present PRO of for print media ng PADS, no?
Philippine Agriculture.
Philippine Agricultural Journals Inc. No, and 5-time ito, very humble to, leader ng aming asosasyon, no? And he also used Business Mirror. And he was active in Manila Bulletin nung kasama kami. Pero mas matanda ako dito. Junior ako, senior. So, Mike, mabuhay ka.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining
us. Thank you for
us
having me here. Yeah.
Mabuhay ka, kapatid. And also, I have a very special guest from New York. He's a Jew, His name is Ted Allen, an MBA Economics Development graduate, and his focus is on micro, the micro technology on water. And well, he's been to Bangladesh. I'm reading a very brief background on can I call you brother Ted?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's been in Bangladesh striving to turn disaster response to long-term sustainable development. Wow. Okay. China striving to make hey, this is something, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, good news to talaga, ha? Tapos Pilipinas, okay? In the Philippines, he's here with us. We're blessed to have him. Currently striving to introduce the ultra-pure, healthy water systems to support efforts to the 80% ERS considered at, oh, what's ERS?
80%ers, those in the world who live at or below the poverty level.
Wow, okay.
That's our focus.
Oh, wow, beautiful. Poverty,
80%
yes, you mentioned it, to enable, to improve health and the means to create a micro enterprise
Well, thank you.
initiatives. Folks, talagang magandang balita ito.
Good job.
Thank you, Michael.
Good job.
You know, before we entered the studio, we were having a brief discussion here and they were enjoying their banter, you know. And they were speaking about the present crisis that we're having, grabe. You know, yung water shortage natin.
This is getting too big.
Too big.
And too big means water in Filipino.
Tama. Alam mo, Mike, yung ating mga kababayan, 80% dito mga millennial. Okay? And we're live not only in the capital cities of the nation, even overseas, no? Nakikita tayo ng mga Filipinos abroad, no? And with the present crisis, no? I was reading yung article mo. I was reading an article from Binhi, the official newsletter of our beloved association. You know, folks, when the water shortage gets too big, and ito yung
Cover.
ito yung cover, right?
Pushing
for agri reforms.
right now.
Right now.
We are a writer, so
Right now.
It's right.
Binhi Magazine.
The power of the word. So right.
Oh, right now. Congratulations, Sam. Ay, talaga naman. Inaugural issue po ito. And my good friend has invited me to write, no? So next issue kasama na ako. Buhay ka, kapatid. So okay, without much ado, I would like to pass this to Mike because he was having a very close talk with our beloved Secretary Manny Piñol of Agriculture. And during the affair that we had in Patch that evening, si kapatid Manny, alam mo, he was telling us na kung hindi natin gawin ang ating dapat gawin, we are entering into a period of crisis. Alam mo, you couldn't and wow, we're really in a very serious matter because water is life. Amen. And to celebrate life, you have water.
Okay.
Water equals food. They're related. Hindi pwedeng alisin yung isa from the other one. Pero ang basic, sinasabi nga ni Secretary Manny Piñol, is water.
He showed photos of aerial photos of
Mike,
the dams, the rivers. It's all silted already, and they all lack water, and they're silted. So in time they would run out of water, and if we don't protect, and the siltation is caused by the soil erosion because our forests are denuded already. So if we don't protect and conserve the watershed,
what will happen?
So all of that. We run out of water, so we could have an impending shortage. Even today, it's already happening.
We're feeling it actually now.
And it could get worse in time.
Ay,
So
sinabi
it's
mo pa
imminent.
yan. Nakpo.
So, but it's ironic because we have among the highest rainfalls in the world. The
The highest, yes, the
among
Philippines.
the highest, among the
Oo.
highest. We encounter 21 typhoons
Uy,
a year.
Per
That's
year.
apart from the regular rainfall because of the rainy season.
Ted,
and,
that's the
yeah.
first time you're hearing it directly from him, from my, a very analytic source.
So even we don't have, like in the Middle East, Israel, you're Jew, Israeli, yeah.
Oh, isn't it?
In his roots, no?
Mhm.
They don't have water there, enough water, but they're able to develop the technologies to
That's
conserve
true.
water.
Yun ang problem.
So they all just are flashed down from the mountains to the river to the oceans, bringing with them all the topsoil, soil erosion. So that's a waste of So
Yeah. In fact, I had the honor and privilege to speak with the new ambassador of Israel
Wow.
about three days ago. And we were discussing so many issues, and among them was the problem of agriculture and water.
water.
And the good ambassador was telling us, no, na ang focus talaga dapat tulungan ang Pilipinas, because Israel folks brings Filipino scholars to Israel, yearly. In fact, when I was speaking to the former Ambassador Epi Matachao, he was telling us something like, several students receive scholarship programs in Israel on agriculture. So the discussion led into several things like, the Philippine-Israeli relations and all that, because during that time we were honored and privileged to see the ambassador, put his ballot because it's the elections of Israel, and it was the first time we witnessed it. No, and so, things are happening very fast in the world. Ang problema, it's really basic. Yun ang sinabi ni Secretary Manny Piñol. Pag naano mo yung basic, what happens when the basic is shattered or shaken? And water is life. Very basic yan sa buhay. Tremendous, you just dry up. And, I've been monitoring in media about several, may namatay ng mga Pilipino sa init, no? And maybe because of the water shortage. This is not a joke. I mean, this is very serious. In fact, the secretary was telling us that evening, we have to do something about it. And there is an urgency. Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So
Please,
maybe later we can discuss Ted's proposal.
Yeah, okay,
and,
Ted.
technologies,
Yes,
The
Ted.
article I wrote, Francis.
Yes, please. Mike. Wow, talaga naman ibang klase ito.
When the water shortage gets too big is
Is it-
damned if you don't.
Oh, yeah.
So
I like that.
like this picture here of a little swimming pool like, you call it a dam or a catch basin.
A catch basin,
It's
right?
a catch basin.
Okay.
It's up in the mountain.
Can
Now,
you
what
imagine
if you
that?
can build hundreds of thousands of these all over the archipelago, in the mountain slopes where most of the mountains already denuded?
Right.
Then when you have water around, you increase the aquifers, the water around. You can grow agroforests, fruit orchards, agriculture, vegetation.
Oh,
know.
you can
And
develop
you
so
can
many
even
things.
put
Yeah.
fish.
Or
grow
even fish.
inside.
Yeah.
So because
Uh-oh.
75%, 2/3 of people living below the poverty and easily 55%, 58% population based in the countryside. So they're in agriculture. So if you can build thousands, hundred thousands of these, even do it in a construction frenzy, like even pick and shovel, you employ them.
Yes.
In the same way that during Franklin Roosevelt's time, the 1930s,
Yes.
I read about there was this book by Nick Taylor.
Yes.
How when FDR, Franklin Roosevelt, put the nation to work, he created something like 4 million jobs in 1 month.
Tremendous.
And that's equivalent to 10 million jobs in today's standards.
Mhm.
So how did he do it? There were so many programs, so many, but I appreciated one of them, the Conservation Corps, something. So they were trained in camps outside in the cities and countryside. They taught literacy, numeracy, and skills like carpentry, masonry,
Terrific,
electrical,
huh?
all the skills.
Para
And they were
mabigyan ng
tasked to build
jobs.
from roads, barns,
terrific.
silos, bridges, hospitals. I mean, on a mass scale.
Mm.
And that's how FDR created jobs. And and they use another liquid acid also because that's the problem in this country.
Ito yan yung problema eh. See.
Credit, use credit.
Mm.
They uttered
Yes,
money
Mike.
and use the money to employ people to do something productive.
Mhm.
And because of that productive, that generated, that generated the recovery.
Ito yung depression.
So, the Great Depression.
Oo, during that. Basa
Great
ko nga
Depression
doon.
years,
Tama ka, Mike. Yes, Ted. In fact, I'm going over here a fact sheet on the global water crisis, And it says here the climate change had made dry areas drier and precipitation more variable and extreme.
Precipitation, you mean rain.
Rain. Oo, tama ka. So the climate change phenomena called, may pangalan pala ito, Hadley cell. Expansion deprives equatorial regions like the Sub-Sahara, Africa, the Middle East, and Central America of life-giving rainwater. Grabe ito, and this is happening. Our nation, later on we will discuss about the natural infrastructures, yung mga sinabi mo, Mike, na maaring magamit, Mike will tell us so many things that he discussed with our secretary. And these are our good news, really, but we have to do some action. So, Ted, I
We can hear from Ted.
yeah, I would like to give you the table now, the floor, and please let us know about your plans.
I would like to begin with a famous quote by
Okay.
Johannes Gutenberg. Would one of you like to read that?
Can
Mike?
you make a digest, perhaps?
Yeah,
Okay.
perhaps.
Because, digest,
Okay, now,
Our
Johannes,
reader, our viewers are
More,
not,
yeah. Right,
Pinoy
okay.
again. Maybe
Yes.
a lengthy English will
Yes.
be.
Right.
You make a digest.
okay, Johannes Gutenberg
Yes, Mike.
is credited with having the most profound impact in 1955. I encourage everyone to research his life, and it has had a absolutely profound impact on the world that we live in. It took us out of the dark ages into an age of enlightenment and just tremendous transformations that have occurred in the world.
Okay.
I believe that because of that, literacy rates are exploding around the world today, and it gives us great hope that we can overcome these challenges. Just 2 days ago, I was in a barangay. It's a small village here in the Philippines,
Which
And-
part? Which
Yeah, which community?
in
yeah, right.
Angono.
Angono.
Yes.
Uy.
So
Okay.
I needed to get my shoes
Okay.
shined.
Uh-huh.
And it was very early in the morning, but there was one little shop. It was no more than to me. And
Okay.
she had been doing this for over 30 years. It's how she provided for her family. And she graciously shined my shoes beautifully. And I had a wonderful conversation with her in English.
Wow.
The lady is of extreme intelligence. as she's doing that, I look across the street and I see a lady sweeping the sidewalk and the side of the street where people had thrown their trash. To the left of her, it was pristinely clean. To the right of her, it was very dirty. And as I gathered my shoes and paid for them and walked across the street, I had an amazing conversation with her in English.
Okay.
She was extremely intelligent. She had done this for, virtually her whole adult life to support her children and put them through college. And both of them are gainfully employed, doing very well. And it reminded me of my time in Bangladesh, where
I remember your story. Yeah.
where,
This is beautiful story that he had there.
we have the Grameen Bank, and the founder, the founder of the the founder of the Grameen Bank would only loan money to women.
Okay.
And he was doing it primarily to Muslims and Hindus. And he had such great success, he received a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
And it's a very large bank today, tremendous success. I believe that we can take the genius that is in the people, as the majority, especially of the youth, are amazingly gifted and intelligent. And as we provide them with a very clean, pure water source, that we're able to put a day's supply of vitamins and minerals in it, that from day one, the moment they're drinking this water, it's going to improve their lives. They're going to begin to get very healthy, and as you shared in your article, it's going to create millions of jobs.
Right.
Future farming is not going to be like this, even in rural areas.
Let me cite a statistics. 55 Filipinos die daily because of dirty water. Says the National Sewerage Septage Management Program. These deaths result because over 90% sewage is not collected or treated, and only 10% of people has access to pipe sewage systems.
Yesterday, I had an amazing conversation with several gentlemen, and we want to address that in the barangays and the floodplain, things of that nature, and literally around the country. We would like to do waterless toilets. We would like to do waterless clothes washing. We would like exactly.
Terrific. That's a good news, huh?
Flash report.
Hindi nakalimutan.
Can you send me more stuff, literature?
I'll be more than happy to.
Beautiful.
Contact details.
So whenever we have a challenge and we put our minds together,
Yes.
and we can come up with great solutions. Someone suggested using enzymes, and someone
enzymes,
suggested other things, and I just see it as very viable. How do we get funding for that? How do we get funding for water filtration in the communities? The government just released 38 billion peso, but I believe we can also do it through private funding. And I think we can have an absolutely profound impact on the country.
Tremendous, huh? That's a good news, huh, Mike?
So
Yes, Mike.
let me so I wrote another article. It also came out here, the one on credit, because in this country, the banks, they do not they don't know that market the farmers. And but there's a law that mandates banks to allocate 25% of their loan portfolio for agriculture. But there's an escape clause. If they buy government securities T-bills, it's a form of compliance. But since the law is still there, they're forced to pay penalties. And over the last 4 years alone, 7 billion pesos, more than 7 billion pesos were paid for penalties alone.
Ang laki.
Penalties so that they don't have to be forced to lend to farmers or agriculture.
That's quite big. Huh?
So there must be a way to divert those funds, which are spent on penalties anyway, and can fund projects like yours.
Right.
Or something of that sort, where because the idea is there, the funds are there, but they just don't seem to meet because they have different mandates, different the banks have their own culture,
Or
their
ibang
own,
mindset. They have a
mindset.
different mindset.
So it's also ironic because about 20 banks have been closing every year. The small banks,
Oh, that's very true.
rural banks,
Yes, I've
home banks,
monitored
savings
that.
banks,
That's very
trade banks, development banks. So, and what replaces them are the big banks who are now into technology systems.
true.
They're now very innovative.
Yes, the one I
But
know.
they do not lend to agriculture.
They don't. You know what?
Like for instance, I met a bank manager somewhere in Ilocos,
Oh,
a
it's
big,
north.
no?
Yeah, okay.
Although that was a few decades back, but
Okay, Mike.
the is still migrant Filipinos. They're Ilocanos.
Yes.
Are there are many in Hawaii, California,
Yeah,
because
in the U.S.
at the start of the century, more than a century ago, early depression, there were so many Ilocano migrant workers.
That's true.
So they keep on sending to their families and relatives. So every day he receives this. But he only retains 2% for local withdrawals and for local borrowings. 98% he sends to Metro Manila headquarters. So this only proves to show that there is even a massive siphoning of capital away from agriculture.
Wow.
So if this is spent locally, invested locally or lent locally to local investors, businesses, farmers, cooperative, it will
Wow,
create the
tremendous.
local economy, multiplier effects, and generate jobs, the productivity, etc. But a dual economy by a very cosmopolitan Metro Manila where you see all the high, the malls, and at the same time, and rural poverty.
Right. Okay.
So
Wow, thank you so much,
Anyway.
Mike. We'll be back, folks. Good News Pilipinas after this break at DZRJ 810 AM.
You're listening to DZRJ 810 AM. We'll be right back after these reminders.
Party list, iboto nyo si Nograles. 26 sa inyong list. Ang daming programa.
Scholarship, sports and culture, medical assistance, infrastructure project, school building, barangay halls, senior citizens building, gym, construction of roads, burial assistance, daycare center, Oplan Kalikasan, Bantay Dagat at marami pa.
Inyong list.
PPA Party List, Nograles. Paid for by Prospero Nograles, 17 Doña Vicente Village, Davao City.
Heat sensitive po ang mga lotto tickets. Huwag itong babasain o paplansyahin ang inyong mga tickets. Kailangan ma-validate ng machine ang lotto tickets para ma-claim ang premyo.
Tolentino, Tolentino ng bawat Pilipino. Tol, tol, tol. Tol, tol, tol. Tolentino.
Tolentino, Senador.
Political ad paid for. Francis Tolentino by Pilipinas ng ating advocates. 2202 Taft Avenue, Manila.
The widely successful rock opera ballet Tales of the Maneuver returns to the stage from March 22 to 31. Relive the golden rock and roll sound of the 70s as we bring you the powerful vocals of musical legends Celeste Legaspi and Boy Camera. Joining them are some of Philippine music's brightest stars. Narca Bico, Lawrence Martinez, Sheila Valderrama, Lara Maige, and Ruben Laurente. Pinoy Rock Legends Radioactive Sago Project provides musical magic alongside the UP Concert Chorus. Take a trip down memory lane. Groove to the best of Philippine dance, vocal, and rock music. Get ready for a rocking good time. Book your tickets now. Call 551-1003 or book your tickets online at www.ticketworld.com.ph.
Radio Bandido, 810 AM.
Okay, folks, this is Good News Pilipinas, DZRJ 810 AM, and we're live nationwide and all over the world. And this is your host, Francis De Guzman, and a very beautiful and wonderful guest here, my good friends, Mike and Ted. We were discussing earlier during the break the solutions to problems in Metro Manila, especially about the water wars supposed to be happening, and but that's a question mark actually. So Folks, I'd like to ask my friend Mike. Mike, ano yung sinasabi mo kanina kay Ted? You were discussing some details that are figures and all that. No?
Well, there are potentials what Ted is raising.
Right,
and
right,
then
Mike.
there are also surplus funds even in these countries.
Dito
In
sa
this
ating
country,
bansa,
yeah.
okay.
Surplus funds in the banking system.
Okay.
The banks would rather park their funds in the banks
Then,
or in government securities, but I'd rather that they are spent on something productive, which will
That's
create
true.
solid jobs, like spending, lending to factories,
Yeah.
agriculture, that will boost down the so that and you can integrate, let's say, technologies like TED,
Right.
and package them with a bundle of other systems that would so as to bring down costs but generate more returns as well. So it's a interlocking thing of so probably there can be mechanisms of this can be done through third party developing closed loop market financing schemes.
Yeah, that's very important. Lalo na,
Yeah, because the excess funds and the needs, there's a need, there are technologies available, and there are funds available, but they don't seem to meet. So
They have
all
to
it takes is to
connect.
connect,
Interlink
everything.
them.
And,
Yeah,
but you have to
interlink.
create a
Okay.
program.
Right.
Maybe it could be a government program that would put all these ingredients together.
Ito ano, yeah.
Of cost benefits, social cost
Right.
benefits, in terms of financial returns, instead of so they become viable and sustainable.
Sustainable. That's
And
very
even
important.
for the funding
Right.
financial institutions,
Oo.
for government, for the technology providers, and the people recipients of such technologies. So,
and
normally in any venture,
yes.
for you to profit from you can bundle it up with other systems, so you can spread
Spread it
costs
wider o mas
and
malawak.
generate returns over in
That's
low
true.
volume. And so it depends. It depends. So the devil is in the details. The nitty-gritty. So we can study. Feel free to supply us those. And
Yes,
probably write an article about it. Or
Ted, can you give your
Household unit, we can produce water at about a penny a gallon. That's 50 centavos here in the Philippines.
Okay.
And what we can do is add a capsule that provides a person with all the vitamins and minerals that they would need in a day, which would be at or below that cost. So for, say, 80 centavos to 100 centavos, which would be a
1 peso.
peso, we're able to provide a person with all the water they need in a day, with all the vitamins and minerals they would need in a day. And it could absolutely transform the health and vibrancy of
would
a
that
community.
include that's just the technology to treat the water?
Well, this is
The
this,
1 peso.
Yes.
Yeah, the
So
1 peso.
this technology exists.
Okay.
It's available today, and we're trying to get this to. What I see it doing is birthing actually potentially hundreds of thousands of micro enterprise and millions of jobs. It's all future farming is going to be done through massive farming will be done with hydroponics. And we have systems that do this. In the Philippines, we have the most nutrient-rich organic fertilizers in the world. And we combine this with ultra-pure water. The fruits and the vegetables are going to be just filled with nutrients and vibrant. It could have an absolutely profound impact on the country.
That's right. I believe him.
Ted,
Yeah.
I was just wondering because water in the big cities, Metro Manila, for instance, there's pipe water which is potable. So, but their businesses selling bottled water. It's a big business. Them. The market would probably the regional were really in need of it, or
Well, we're able to go from a very small handheld approximately 9 inches high, and just a small tube all the way up to municipal grade, over 1 million gallons a day. And the systems work across. If we know that there's a contaminant in the water, we can address it. Again, with Gutenberg, we entered into a new age. You know, you think of what's going on with technologies today, with the computer and things. We're not going back to the typewriter. We're not going back to, you know, a horse and buggy. We're into new technologies. And the same thing is happening with water filtration. And as these systems become known and applied, it's going to have, to me, one of the most profound influences in the world, next to Gutenberg's invention of the printing press, which was really prophetic in nature, as he says that, you know, it's going to do just that. It's going to unleash the potential in man. And because prior to this, they were not given an opportunity to know how to read and write. Well, today they know how to read and write, but they don't have a foundation of integrity. They have not read the entire narrative, if you will, that Johannes Gutenberg was involved in. That was the Mosnine Bible. And so he wanted people to be able to read the Bible and have the truth of that be unleashed. Well, because of theologies and things, we actually call a portion of the Bible old and a portion of it new. Well, the reality is that none of it is old and none of it is new. It's all inspired by the Creator God. It's all relevant for our lives. It provides, it's eternal. It's just like Him. It's full of truth and reality. It provides us with a foundation of integrity. Whenever we have this foundation of integrity and we build upon that common sense that I believe that people naturally have, so now they're living at a higher level of morality and they have a higher value structure. They have this intelligence that's innate in them, and then you combine on that, they're able to read and write. I believe that we'll see an absolutely amazing transformation in many things around the world. I'm excited for the future. I believe that our best years are ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, you were speaking about the future, and my good friend here, Mike, tells me that he has a bestseller book.
I was just, I'm reading, starting to read the book.
Starting to read a book, but a Jewish author who was saying about what could be, you know, what we can experience later on in a few years from now. Yeah.
History of humankind.
History of humankind.
And ironically, it discusses also, it's ironic, the future of the history. So
anyway,
if I may, I'd like to share a book that I've been working on.
Oh, yes.
It's a comparative study of the Sermon on the Mount to biblical, extra-biblical, Quranic, and extra-Quranic sources.
Okay.
The reason why I did that was because I believe that both the Jewish community, the Christian community, and the Islamic community have not fully communicated the Word of God in the richness and fullness that's there, with the integrity that is intended to be brought forth. And whenever we do that, it opens up a completely new paradigm and understanding. And I believe the same thing is happening with water today. And it's going to radically transform agriculture.
That's true.
Whenever we have these small ponds, which we were working on in Bangladesh, it was transforming communities. The fish production was absolutely amazing. We put ducks on top of there, you know, and all sorts of things. You know, a duck egg is worth 2 chicken eggs. You know, there's all kinds of things we can do. And whenever we're feeding the plants and the animals this cleaner water that has these nutrients and things in it, everything gets better and everyone's health improves and the economy gets better. Everyone's more productive. I think the future is extremely bright for us.
Right, towards a response to long-term sustainable development.
So
right,
the problem in this country is all liquid. Lack of water, lack of credit.
But I would say,
because with liquidity or credit, you can fund projects that will generate the water.
If I may, Mike, I would like to say that to me, the problem isn't funding. Funding will come. Whenever people understand the reality of what we're saying, we're able to take a gallon of water, which is basically, I believe, 1.6 liters, and clean that to the nano level, taking out any contaminant known to man. If we know a contaminant's in there through good testing, we can take it out. This is unheard of. You know, a head of water in a country said, we have these cleaning stations, but we need water at least 100 times better than that. Well, these systems that I'm presenting actually are that. We're taking out contaminants to the nano level. It actually sucks, it's the media is so positively charged, it's sucking out both positively and negatively charged things. It's taking out pharmaceuticals. It's taking out all sorts of very hazardous metals and toxins and things.
Wow.
You think of the impact on us because of, these, we're dealing with, in one country, I won't mention it, but there's mercury in the water. And there was an article that I saw today in the United States where there's manganese in the water. And I mean, just who knows what's in there.
Right.
If we know it's there, we can work on this media, so
Mercury.
suck it out and
yeah.
make it safe.
In this country, Mercury is selling a lot. No, the Mercury is the name of the drugstore.
While Ted was saying that, Mike, I was taking a look at the World Report here, on World Resources by World Resources Institute, and they were saying wasted water. Although water is a renewable resource, it's often wasted through inefficient practices like flood irrigation, water intensive wet cooling at the thermal power plants. We also fail to treat the water we pollute with 80% of wastewater discharged back to nature. Can you imagine this? Without further treatment or for being reused. So see the importance of water. You're right, Mike.
Yeah.
Your article is very timely. In fact, his appearance in the Philippines is timely. Ted.
Must be providential,
Right. Walang aksidente sa Panginoon. Nothing is accidental with God. So everything is God is put things in order, in order to save people, in order to give us a good life, while we're still here on the earth, and to lessen problems, so there are solutions. He gives us the wisdom, the knowledge and the understanding. So this is the reason why we have this important program today with that theme on water shortage. It's getting too big. Right. So
I'm fascinated by what you're writing a book, you said.
Yes.
Yes, Ted.
That's good.
Yeah.
Was citing the commonalities among Christian, Jews, and Muslims. Because throughout history, we've overemphasized our differences. What we should be doing.
Let's go to commonality.
Go back to our roots. We came from the same root. All came from Abraham.
Amen.
All came from etc. And build on our commonalities as human beings.
That's right.
We may differ in color, race, political, even religion per se, but we have the same as human beings.
There is a commonality. That's a word.
And if we build on commonality, I guess we can have a peaceful world.
Yes. I like Mike.
Whenever our neighbor is hungry, we give him something to eat. He's thirsty, we give him something to drink.
Yeah.
And
maybe
that
he's
makes
you more human when you do that.
Yeah.
And I think even long before the 10 Commandments, page 1 of Genesis, there were already instructions, guidelines. For instance, it says there, be fruitful and multiply. That means you be productive. And in the beginning, there was the word. So the power of the word, to communicate the ideas. And there was something said also about we're made in the image and likeness.
Amen.
I think it only means two things. One is righteousness, and it runs across all cultures. What is righteous? I mean, similar there may be something universal, no? And second, if He's the Creator, who are we? If we're made in His image and likeness, we must be creative as well.
That's right.
We cannot be in the image. He cannot be brown-skinned or Caucasian or black or Chinese or whatever.
That makes no difference, does it?
So He's not that. He's not. You cannot define Him according to specific parameters. He's abstract yet concrete. I mean, it's a contradictory expression of the mystery of what God is, according to many definitions of man, how man perceives God, and for different culture. But what is common, I believe, is if we're made in His image, we must be creative, and by doing something creative and productive, be fruitful. No, we make our parents and forefathers proud, and we provide for our children's children to the future.
Right.
So, and by doing so, we become more human. We become more human. And unlike animals, they adapt to nature. They only think of the moment. They even eat their offspring to survive. The survival of the fittest, no? Which was used by during the British Empire
those days,
to Darwinian, to justify subjugation of people, colonized. But human beings, we think differently. The Greek philosophers of the technology, the science, the Chinese, we bring them all the way to the present. And we keep them, we treasure them, and it guides us in providing for the future.
That's true.
We become because in the olden times, when man was still live in the cave, we just had the rivers, the mountain, the sky. Today we have computers, technology, spaceships, railways. But these are products of our human creativity and human innovativeness.
In
so
fact,
we should be doing that as a build on that, not squabbling politics. That's divisive. That's divisive.
You're talking here of unity in diversity, right?
Diversity is normal. But I think the only law that should be is respect.
Right.
Respect for
individuals,
respect for differences, respect your religion, respect your culture, respect your old elders, respect the children, respect. Respect is more encompassing. It's more tolerant. It's more, I go by that.
You're saying that because the God that we were mentioning a while ago is a God of compassion. He's a God of love. In fact, if you define love, God is love. It says in the Bible. So when you say love, it encompasses everything, right, Mike? And in it flows, His attributes to man. He gives man, the chance to become creative, because God is our creator. And if we're made in the image and likeness of God, we have to
exercise that inherent capacity.
Yes. And for the good.
Yeah.
Not for evil.
You get a child from the tribal,
yes,
no read, no write. You bring him, educate him. He can be as better as anyone from, So
very true.
Everyone has that capacity.
100%
Everyone can be intelligent. Everyone can be, but just give them all the support mechanism, educate them, etc.
That's why our focus is the 8%ers.
Yeah, and technology becomes important because you need productivity, you need the sustenance.
Before that, we need health. Before that, we need integrity.
Water, food,
built on integrity.
Yes. And all of these are all packaged in one,
Yes.
And if we do that, I guess we'll have
a very wonderful world we're living in. In fact, while I had a talk with Mike, I had a talk with Ted yesterday, and he was mentioning, how he got into the advocacy of water. And we won't mention the name of the nation, no?
Okay.
But he underwent such a tremendous experience in his life, he almost lost it. Can you tell a brief on it, Ted?
Yeah, it was in a
living testimony.
It was in an urban area.
Yeah.
And I was told that the water would be safe, but it was not being boiled adequately. Actually, just warmed up and created more things that would make me sick. And from the first day I drank the water, I became very sick, and within 45 days, I had lost over 80 pounds. And I was at possibly below 95 pounds.
Oh boy. You heard that, Mike?
Whenever I returned to the States, shortly after that...
you got sick with what?
Acute dysentery. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which needed to come out first out of my
that's
which hole. And it was a rough time. And they thought I was going to die, and I told them my carcass wasn't worth enough to air flight out of there. And so it created a very positive environment with my host country.
So that's why you got involved in water
Very much so.
technology.
And
verifying.
actually,
that would be a great story to tell.
Yeah, right.
As a segue to
I have
you push for an advocacy more than
It becomes a
pushing the
heartbeat,
technology,
no?
because the technology becomes, and the marketing vision of the technology will follow.
May I share this story?
Even more with advocacy, because that's really
becomes your heartbeat. Mike is an advocate, just like I am.
If I may share another story with you,
Yeah.
I was in the United States. I'm a Sabbath keeper. I was home and I was studying.
You were a what keeper?
I'm a Sabbath keeper, so I take seventh day off on a Saturday.
Keeper, yeah.
Sabbatical, yeah.
And I just had this sense that I needed to go to a mosque. And I'm like, why? It was a very hot day, and I kind of argued with myself for a while, but I'm very close with the people there. And after half hour, 45 minutes, I told my family I was going to the mosque. And whenever I got there, I spoke with the imam, who said that he was always available to me, he would, make time, whatever. And so he gave me a few minutes, and he asked me why I was there. Quite honestly, I had no idea. And I remembered an article I'd read in the paper about how bad a certain contaminant was in the water in that country. And I told him, I said, maybe we can talk about water sometime. And he shared with me that, he said, well, for the next however many minutes, he talked to me about this contaminant and how it was causing radically dangerous, health impacts are just amazing. He goes, so what are you going to do about it? I said, quite honestly, I have no idea. I promise you I'll pray about it. He laughed at me and he said, whenever your God gives you the answer, let me know. Well, that fall, I received an answer. And I went and I visited a guy who was involved with these, really special filters.
Yes.
And he gave me a handheld filter. He said, take this to that imam and see what he says. And the imam was absolutely shocked. And I believe, that makes life very special whenever we can interact on such a unique and special level and find ways to address, these absolutely
issues and
horrifying
problems,
and dangerous conditions that are out there.
So, folks, we're about to end in 2 minutes, and maybe we can have a brief wrap up, Mike and Ted, on the solutions, possible solutions.
Ted,
please.
The future is very bright.
Okay.
We're not going back. We're going future. We have the greatest technological advances in water filtration in the history of the world. Let's partner together.
Yeah.
And
Why not?
I see every reason in the world why free enterprise would want to enter in and not be afraid of loan packages and things for these farmers and for the urban poor, wherever they are. And I believe health is going to improve dramatically as these things are introduced, and it's going to just make our country safer and more vibrant.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
taking off from
Yes,
Ted's
Mike.
idea of future is bright.
Okay.
I believe it's the future that will create our present,
Oh.
which may be ironic,
I like
but
that.
That's a no.
because our dreams, our visions, our goals,
Okay.
our targets,
Right.
they dictate what we're gonna do today.
I like that, Mike.
Okay. So when we think that way, it changes our perspective and it makes us more optimistic. It makes us more.
I like that.
We become more
And-
hopeful.
Yeah.
May pag-asa.
So
So
we're
beautiful,
we're
Mike. Okay.
mostly burdened by our past,
Mm.
baggages of the past. But if we think differently,
Mm.
that will change the present and even our perspective of the past. So even our past of difference, we can build on the commonalities.
Wonderful, Mike.
That
Thank you.
note, so even the problem is getting too big.
Yeah.
The water.
It is a big problem.
Yeah. But with together, we can solve problems.
Wonderful. Yes. So Good News Pilipinas always ends with a good news word of God. In Isaiah 49:10, the word of God says, they shall neither hunger nor thirst, neither heat nor sun shall strike them. For he who has mercy on them will lead them, even by springs of water. Okay, he will guide them. Amen. So our God is a wonderful, faithful God. You know, he gave encouragement to John in the book of Revelation. Jesus told John, he will make everything new. So that's fast forward to the future. God be the glory. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ted.
Thank you,
Buhay
Brother
ang Pilipinas.
Francis.
Good news.
Good news.
Good news.
Thank you.
Radio Bandido, 810 AM.